Welcome to the Perth Gaming Cruise Show, episode 22. We are bringing on part 2 for Indies today, as promised. We just had too much demand from the fans, from the people of Perth and beyond. They needed to know what our favourite indie games are and were, and the ones we're excited to play that are upcoming. Pat and I are very well aware that everyone else is out there playing Starfield, Street Fighter 6, Season 3 or whatever of Diablo 4, but hey, we're going to give the little guy, the little girl, the little person a go. So,
Absolutely.
Yeah, what do you reckon? How you doing today, Pat, anyway?
Yeah, good, thanks, mate. Second day of spring, so I've already been feeling the hits of hay fever. Got the meds locked and loaded.
Oh, yeah.
But otherwise, looking a bit overcast here in Perth.
Yeah, so we do love to give our weather updates. Like, Perth had, like, this swelteringly hot, like, tropical day a few days ago. It was like, that's kind of weird. It was so nice. So nice.
Yeah.
And then today's gone grey again. I don't know what's going on with it.
It was going crazy. Yesterday was like overcast, and then it started pelting down in the afternoon for like no reason.
Yeah, it's like, what is going on out there? So for those of you who are indoors today or just are skipping out on Father's Day this weekend, we're giving you something to do, some indies to feed on and play and enjoy this weekend. So before we go on, if you did miss our previous episode, we covered some bangers. They were amazing. My favorite game, my favorite indie of all time was on there. The Messenger, go watch it just for that bit. Skip the rest of the podcast. I just had an amazing spiel about The Messenger. We also covered Project Zomboid, one of Pat's favorites, which it looks so good. Go check it out. Neon Abyss, Dave the Diver, Stardew Valley, Crawl, Bloodstained 2, Curse of the Moon, and Golf Story. So we had a bit of an assortment.
Absolute bangers. There is no game listed just now where I was like, I probably wouldn't play that. That's literally all would be like,
For real, like, I haven't even played the ones like Pat picked yet, and I'm like, I need to now play those, and then I'll play the ones he's going to talk about today. Anyway, onward and upwards. So, our first game of today is a little-known game called Braid. This is one of Pat's picks. I'm aware of it. I know it's an older indie game, but it's been around for a little bit. But
older for us, mate. Older for us.
Only for us old-timers. But Pat, can you tell us a little bit about Braid?
Absolutely, I would love to. So Braid was probably the first game that I played that was indie, but I wasn't really aware of the title indie yet. So I just thought it was a game, but like in retrospect, it is definitely the first indie game I've played. I'm pretty sure. So it came about because I was studying, I should say, and I was in uni, and I was in a room. I was locked in a room with my friend Adam. Shout out to my friend Adam. I haven't spoken to him in years and years and years. But
he's watching.
I hope so. Yeah, he's we got through some shit together, me and that guy. So I have very deep affection for him. But he introduced me to this game 2 a.m. morning at uni, where we were just like, God, I'm tired. We should play a game.
Classic uni days.
Absolutely. He pulled this up, and he basically said it's like Mario plus Prince of Persia mechanics. So it's a platformer. The story is basically like Mario. I'm pretty sure the protagonist's name. I looked this up actually. The protagonist's name is Tim.
Tim.
The most unassuming name. But Tim is the protagonist's name, and he's basically trying to rescue a princess from a monster.
No.
Sound familiar, doesn't it? However, this game is deeply philosophical. Like you would not think it. So Tim basically, I'm pretty sure, has like amnesia or something, or he's trying to rescue the princess, but I think he really doesn't know why. And if you can see from the trailer there, you have to pick up these jigsaw puzzle pieces, which I think repairs your memory. So the more you pick them up, you start getting memories back and things like this. So the game is far, far deeper than just a platformer. There is actually a very compelling and very captivating story behind it. It is a platform game, though, as you can see. However, Tim does have the ability to manipulate time. So much like Mario 3, it's set up in different worlds, and each world, I think there's about 6 or 7 worlds, and each world has a specific time-based mechanic applied to it. So, for example, World 2, probably just like forward and rewind. Number 3, you can like stop time, etc. Like it just
Oh,
goes like
that's
that.
cool. So like, it's fresh like every
Yeah,
world you
it's
play through.
fresh
That's very
everywhere.
Mario-y, but that's so
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, that's right. So you got to combine all of this. It is a puzzle game, so there are places where it would get difficult because you have to figure out how you use time in order to be able to pass a certain area.
Is it a
Um,
bit slower if it's a puzzle game? Like if you're collecting puzzle pieces, because Mario, you're kind of getting from point A to point B, and sometimes you're collecting keys to get through
yeah,
doors. But does that make the game slow or affect the rhythm badly, or is it just a cool like kind of mechanic in the game? Like,
it is a cool mechanic. You play it at
hmm,
your own pace,
okay, cool.
but basically the point of it is if you want to get the whole game, you pick up the jigsaw puzzle pieces because that's what unlocks the actual story, I
Oh,
guess.
cool. That's
Which is,
cool.
I don't want to reveal too much because the story, like I said, actually compelling. I don't want to accidentally spoil something,
Hmm.
but if you have not played it, absolutely play it because I want to look.
Do it.
There,
Do it. We've got
yeah,
time. The
there
people
is
need to know.
no. I was just gonna say there is a twist at the end, and there is a twist at the end, and it's probably it's great. Like it's amazing. It
Okay.
caught me off guard, and I was like, "Holy shit, nice!"
Oh,
But
cool.
yeah, the game itself is fantastic. If you are a fan of Mario at all, and you like platformers, you like puzzle pieces, artwork is gorgeous. I think they like I don't know, maybe like hand painted or something like
Yeah,
that.
it
The
looks
background,
really
as you can
nice, really
see, yeah,
detailed.
yeah.
Yeah.
And for a
But
game that came out in 2008, 2009,
wow.
pretty damn good.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a beautiful game. Definitely check it out. It's good fun. Story is wonderful and very unassuming considering it's a platformer game, as you can see. But
Yeah.
it's a great
Looks
time.
awesome, man. No, it looks awesome. I think this is on pretty much all the modern platforms too. Like it would have come out for PC or Steam
Yes.
originally, but I think you can play it on all the consoles now. I haven't played this. Like hearing you talk about it makes me excited for it. Because I like Mario games, and I think I'm curious to know what that twist is that you mentioned because I could see like the character's kind of serious looking, like he's still like a
Yeah.
human,
Yeah.
and then there's stuff going on. So I was like, oh, I think there's something. There's another layer to everything. So. I'm keen. That's awesome, Pat. So that's Braid.
Yeah.
Check it out if you're a Mario kind of puzzle fan. Well, the first one I've got is in the similar category actually. So um, this is probably also one of the original indie games as well that came out, or the ones that like our generation being
Hey.
older was aware
I know
of.
this. I know this game.
Yeah, I mean, look, and I'm this game has been out for a long time, like Braid, and I know it's one of the big popular ones, but this is a game that I really love. So Shovel Knight is similar. It's a little bit like Braid, I would say. So it's based on the Mario 3 build. Like you've got your overworld that you travel from that you could see there. It's a 2D platformer. You move from like scene to scene, kind of unraveling treasure, jumping on fighting monsters. Basically, you need to get to the end of the level, so it's that kind of
Yeah.
platform at its core. And it's a mix of Ducktales as well. So that's the core mechanic is that you're using your like shovel to jump on enemies, which is it's just fun, like to jump on
Yeah.
objects and enemies and to fight that way. It's gorgeous graphics. I mean, gorgeous color palette. I think like it's
It's
not.
so vibrant. I forgot how vibrant this
Yeah,
game is.
yeah, it's lovely, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's lovely that way. Like the contrast, I love my contrasting colors. It's great contrasting colors and themes. So there's like a specter world, there's an airship, there's like
Mm.
a underground lab, which is really cool. So it's great, and it's the kind of game you can just pick up and play very easily in short sessions. You know, if you've got a Steam Deck or Switch, you pick it up,
Mm.
play it for 10 minutes, you have a good time, finish a level. If you want to play it with friends co-op, you can do that as well.
Beautiful.
I think it's great that they let you do like the gender swap thing at the start. You can make all your enemies or your character a girl or a guy kind of thing. It's kind of
That's
interesting that
funny.
way. And then yeah. So there's the body swap I was talking about. But yeah, the story is basically Shovel Knight lost his little buddy. I think it's Shield Knight, and he's got to like slay the Enchantress. So it's a pretty straightforward story. You hear more for the gameplay, but it is very heartfelt, very cute. It doesn't have that depth, I'd say, that Braid does,
Yeah.
but it does pull you in, and it's very pleasant. The cool thing
Sometimes
about
it's
this,
all you need.
well, that's all you need.
Sometimes
Yeah,
that's all you
exactly.
need.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of like that Mario formula where it's like, you know
Yeah.
what? I don't need to like think in depth. I've had a long day.
Yeah.
I can just switch off and play. Um, there's quite a bit of DLC for this game too. So there's some
Mm.
additional DLC that lets you play some of the bosses: Spectre Knight, Plague Knight, and my favorite, which was King Knight, which is this little kid who like lives in his mum's basement kind of thing, and he has rats for subjects. And you know, one of the characters you save is a king who hits on your mum, and you're like, "Oh, that's gross. Get out of it." There's all these quirky things you can do. So you can get your portrait drawn. So there's King Knight there. You can get
The
your
gold
portrait
guy.
drawn. Hey, the gold guy, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you can get your portrait drawn. It has no effect. It costs you money. It's just purely for vanity. It does nothing. There's a lot of little things like that in this game that make it very charming.
So it gives it
Very
character. I like
hey,
that's what gives it character. I like
yeah,
little quirky things like that. That really doesn't add anything to the overall plot of the story, but it gives it that extra sort of like, yeah, like you said, it's charm. Like it gives it that charm.
yeah, exactly. Like it makes the world feel alive, I guess, to you as
Mm.
a player. And I should mention that it does have a lot of Zelda 2 vibes from the NES. And I played that game as a kid growing up. I remember that game. It was loved by some, hated by others. You know, it's got that when you go to a town, you press up and you talk to the townsfolk that way. It's like, oh, it's so Zelda-y too. Yeah, which was a one of a kind game. So this is a great package to get. It's pretty cheap. You can just buy the DLC if that's all you want. Yeah. Did you played this before, Pat? Like
I
Shovel Knight?
have, yeah, I
Yep.
definitely played Shovel Knight when it first came out,
Yep.
and I thought it was really fun because I didn't really know what it was about. I just watched a few like the release trailer, watched a few trailers on it, and
Yep.
yeah, I thought it was vibrant. I thought it was really cool. I do like myself some platformers, and yeah, at the time I sort of just got it, and I really, really, really enjoyed it because the gameplay is fluid. Um, it's pretty quirky.
Yeah.
In that,
Corky's.
I mean, the fact that your main character is using a friggin' shovel to fight,
Yeah. Yeah.
like,
Exactly. It's very harmless, very
it's
wholesome
very
that way,
cool.
isn't it?
Yeah, it's a very cool game. I unfortunately do not have the DLCs, but actually looking back on this, I might go back and like play it again and get the DLCs because
Yeah.
yeah, I
That
forget how fun this game is.
it's really good, and that's the good thing about the DLC. Where when you play one of the DLC characters, the way you move about the world. Look, it sounds really simple because yeah, it is really simple, but it changes the way you play the game. Like with
Mm,
Mario, you know, you jump on things, you know what you're getting. And Shovel Knight, you dig things, you hit things. But when you change to another character like Spectre Knight, you're flying across the screen. So the
mm.
way you move around a level is very different. And then when you buy the DLC, the actual DLC levels are remixed versions to kind of accommodate that.
Mm.
And then it's the other side of the story. You know, why are they the villains? What's their motivation? Very cute. Yeah, the whole lore around Shovel Knight's great. And I should say, if you're a Nintendo Switch owner, there's Amiibo out there. So if you're into collectibles,
Oh,
pick up the Amiibo. Yeah. All right, so that's Shovel Knight. So we love it. We are going on to the next one, which is one of Pat's picks. I'm picking a random one that he's mentioned here, but you know what? This is
yep,
actually
yep. Good pick. Good pick.
I haven't played this. This is can you what can you tell me about the Ascent, Pat?
The Ascent. So this was how did I this was a random pickup by me. Like I had not heard anything about this game.
PC?
Yeah.
PC? Yeah.
I did get it on PC, but I'm pretty sure it's
Yeah.
available
It's on
on
Xbox, I've heard.
yeah, available on PS4, PS5, Xbox Series.
Mm.
Um but yeah, I picked this up on PC. I oh man, graphics are gorgeous.
Yeah. Indie
So
game. Doesn't look like an indie game for
mate,
graphics, does
tell me
it? Like,
about it. Tell me
yeah.
about it. So I randomly stumbled upon this when I was just having a browse on my Steam, and it was on sale for like $7 or something like this,
Yeah.
something absurd. So I was just like, "What the hell?" I looked at the gameplay trailer, and I was like, $7. So I immediately purchased it.
$7. That's
Yeah, I was
awesome.
immediately. So this game is developed by it's a Swedish. I want to say Swedish in the
Oh,
studio.
I don't know who they are. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, they're called Neon Giant, and this is their debut. This is their debut into the game making industry, I guess. Developed by a team of 12 people. Like, look at the graphics you're watching
Mm.
now, and just this is developed by a team of 12 people. That is crazy. So anyway, the Ascent is the premise of the game. It's like a dystopian future. As you can see there, the heavily cyberpunk aesthetic,
Mm.
which is probably why it came up on my Steam and I got recommended to me.
The algorithm
Yeah, the
found you. It's like,
algorithm,
yep, here you go.
exactly.
You'll like this. And you're like, I love you,
Yeah,
algorithm.
exactly. Yeah, heavily cyberpunky, as you can see there. Just yeah, if you watch the trailer, set in the distant future, you're on a different planet. You
Mm.
basically play like, look, the story's not that deep. You're kind of like a slave, and you work for the big mega corporation called the Ascent Group, and series of things happen, and you're basically just you start working with different factions. You're trying to survive and things like this. Things happen behind the scenes, etc. You just play through the game. It is beautiful. Like, this game
Mm.
is beautiful. I cannot stress that enough. Like, as in graphics wise, look, like I said, the story's not that deep. It's still fun, but I play this for the gameplay and the graphics. The
Mm.
world is so alive. Like, I don't think I can, like, I don't know how to explain it without actually
Yeah,
showing people
it
when you
looks really
play
fluid. Like it just
it.
looks incredibly highly detailed,
It's
and you're just
so
like immersed
detailed,
in
dude.
this. Yeah, man, looks
It's so
awesome.
detailed, and it allows you to immerse, because if you go into the cities and if you go into the towns, it is so alive. Like, there's people walking around everywhere. If you bump into them, like, the physics are crazy. Like, you'll see them jerk back. They'll say something to you in an alien language. There's different species walking around. So there's, like, you got your humans, different alien species just sort of congregating, whatever.
So
It's
is your character like you pick them and choose them
you're a
like
human,
from
yeah.
character? Oh, you're
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
Yeah,
you're a human. I
cool.
don't think
Yeah.
I can't remember if you get a choice to choose your species, but you're a human. But yeah, you choose your race, you create your own character, like, aesthetic
Okay.
wise, like whatever.
Cool.
There's like you have to be a set build, but you could change facial, you could change tattoos, whatever, how you look, etc.
Cool.
So for all y'all that have played Diablo, this is basically Diablo, but with run and gun mechanics. So you don't use swords and
Okay.
stuff
Okay.
like
Yeah, I was
that.
curious. I wasn't sure if it was bullet hell or if it was like you were shooting your
Nah,
yeah, you're moving
this
around
is
yourself and then you're targeting and shooting kind of
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Cool.
So it's basically Diablo with guns. So you gain experience points doing missions and fighting enemies. You level up. You get skills. Uh, yeah, you get skills. You get stats. But most of your skills come from buying stuff. So you just equip it and you get that particular skill.
Hmm.
So there's not a lot of hard thought into min maxing or any of this business. Your weapons that you pick up, typical cyberpunky weapons like energy weapons, machine guns,
Yeah,
etc.,
just
lasers.
like this laser
Yeah,
eviscerating
yeah,
someone.
exactly.
Power
Yeah,
trip.
you can upgrade your weapons, things like that. So it's not the longest game, but it is absolutely, like, it is fantastic. It is a
Cool.
bit violent though, because things blow up when you shoot stuff, but
Mm.
it is a beautiful game. I cannot explain how good and how alive the world is, and just how
Mm.
beautiful the graphics are. Like, I've said
Mm.
beautiful like 12 million times just describing
Nah,
that, but
it looks like the best indie I've ever seen. I mean, some have great different art styles, but in terms of like just the actual depth, the fidelity, the 3D art and animation is like it looks
yeah,
triple A.
yeah,
And the fact
yeah,
that you bought this for like $7,
yeah, yeah.
what more
It's
could you want from life? I paid $7 to
exactly,
play an incredible like game that you
yeah,
love in that genre. Is this
exactly.
co-op as well? Is
It's
it co-op
co-op. It
or
is co-op. I was
okay?
about to.
Okay,
I
cool.
was about to say it is
Yeah.
absolutely co-op. You can play.
Okay.
You can play a local co-op, so it's a couch co-op, and you can play online co-op as well. It is open world, so you're wandering around the different cities and different towns in this planet. Not the
Mhm.
biggest, obviously, but what can you do with 12 people? Like,
Yeah.
the soundtrack is, again, very cyberpunky. I
Mm.
love it because it gets you pumping. When you get into the battle, you just get this, like, friggin' just punky themes and you're just bopping your head along.
Nice. I
Yeah,
get that. You're in the flow of like the vibe of
yeah.
just like dealing death in like
Oh
this
yeah,
neon
absolutely.
universe. Yeah, I
And
get
you've got
that.
this pumping thing, like deep bass just going off in your head while you're just shooting the shit out of everything. Oh, it's great.
Nice.
Um,
Oh,
Look, it's not like I said, the story's not that deep. It
yeah.
does get repetitive because it's like mission here, cool, finish that, next mission, etc. But if you are like me and you are a sucker for pretty graphics, vibrant, alive world, open world, and just overall general having fun, it's a game for you.
I love it. That looks. I mean, thanks for highlighting it, man. It looks awesome.
$7.
There's it's at $7. I can't believe it. Like it's like, yep, all good, no worries.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen Judge Dredd, which is like not super successful movie, but it has Carl Urban in it, and I love it. It's actually one of my favorite movies. It's a siege movie. It's like this looks like that to me. You have freaking amazing.
You're basically RoboCop. Like you're basically RoboCop slash
nice.
Judge Dredd here. Because
nice.
you're like, I mean, you're human, but like, because you're the main character.
But you're there to deal the pain.
Yeah, exactly.
Judgment
like,
time.
Exactly. Oh, it's great. It's great. It's a great game. Check it out if you haven't already.
Awesome. Oh, well, keeping on the theme of cyberpunk, we are clearly both into that genre. So my next one is in that theme too. It's kind of a similar game, but from a different perspective. This is probably my second favorite indie game of all time. The Messenger's number one. This is number two. This is Huntdown. It's clearly in that whole cyberpunk neon universe, hyper-violence.
I love it already.
Yeah. It's like the Ascent, but you just turn it to the side to look at it from a different perspective.
The aesthetic looks very similar. Like
it pretty much is.
You just go like this. Whoop.
That's it. If you come off the Ascent, and you're like, oh, I want more, but I don't want to play it again. Go play this. Go play Huntdown. So this has all the same hallmarks. It has like the co-op gameplay. It's a kind of like run and gun shooter. The design is very much like the old Blackthorn game, which Blizzard made a long time ago. If you don't know what that game is, I remember playing that as a kid. It's kind of like fighting orcs and hiding behind doors and then leaning out and shooting and then hiding and moving along. It's very much like that. So in this game, it's light on story. You're a bounty hunter. You can choose one of three bounty hunters. One of them has a great name, Anaconda. Oh my god, it doesn't get better than that. And they have different guns and different skill sets, but you can pick up a variety of weapons like grenade launchers, shotguns. It's challenging and it's immersive. It never gets dull. It doesn't even feel repetitive, even though the combat, like you fight a really good kind of like array of enemies. Like you fight guys with giant knives that will run at you. You fight like gangsters on motorbikes who will just go straight through you through the screen. The boss fights. I love boss fights. Boss fights are probably my number one mechanic of any game ever. I just love boss fights. And the boss fights here are fantastic. One of them is like this traumatized... Hey, that was... Yeah.
Dragon flying on the screen.
Oh, why not? I mean, like,
Sorry,
exactly. I know. It's like, there's a dragon in this game. Why not? One of my favorite boss fights is like this traumatized Vietnam vet. I think his name is something really inappropriate. And he comes from, he just like screams in trauma as he shoots at you with his minigun. It's such an awkward boss fight, but it's so funny. And then there's another one who's like a pyromaniac she has like this backpack, spraying fire at you. As you deal more damage, she gets hotter and hotter and catches more and more fire and runs around crazily. It's great. This is a great time on your own or with friends, couch co-op. Again, it's hard to get some good couch co-op games, so we've highlighted quite a few today and we will go through a few more. But yeah, it starts with you picking your mission. There's essentially, in terms of the mission structure, you choose which gang to go after. There's like the hill, like the hoodlum something, and the number one suspects or something. Oh, it's terrible. It's so campy. It's so good. So it's really satisfying when you like wipe out a whole gang. And there's like a hockey gang, and then their boss fight is like this hockey guy in a mask in like a wrestling rink in like an entire hockey arena, and all these like fans are cheering for him while you fight him. It's so good. It's intense, it's loud, it's a lot of fun. I don't think it's overly hard, but you can up the difficulty, if you want a big challenge. Yeah. But yeah, if you're into, this kind of stuff,
Oh, I was
Yeah,
gonna say
go.
it's got the same charm as like for anyone that's played like I don't know like Contra or Super C or anything like that.
Yeah, yeah.
On the old NES, look, it's got that very similar charm. Like the game looks fluid. It looks like you can shoot in any direction, which is always a
Yes,
hallmark.
yes, multi-direction. It's not
Yeah,
stuck. It's not stuck
yeah,
or one-dimensional combat. It feels really dynamic. Yeah,
yeah. Hallmark
yeah.
of a great game right there, or a great like shooter I don't want to say platformer, but just
It's
like
a.
side
I don't know
scroller
how to
shooter.
classify it. It's like, yeah, side
Yeah,
scroller shooter. Yeah, exactly
yeah.
that. It's
Oh, it
no.
looks it looks fantastic, man. Like this is 100% a game that I'm going to play. Like this looks right up my alley. Look at that. It's just like the
It's
hyper
so
violence as well.
good.
Like I love
It
it.
is. It's so good. This is yeah. If you like Terminator, if you like The Warriors, if you like Alien, if you like, um, what's that? Oh, like that one based in Vietnam. I forget the name. Escapes me. Just those kind of
Yeah.
futuristic, intense games. It's like that. So yeah, check it out. That is
It
my
doesn't
second favorite indie of all time.
it
Yeah.
looks like it doesn't take itself seriously as well because I remember you showed me the trailer for this, and if you guys can hear it or listen to the trailer, it is
Mm.
actually a fantastic, well-made trailer. It's so funny. Definitely cracked me up a few times. So a game that I will 100% pick up.
Nice, nice. Oh, cool. No, so yeah, the show must move on, but that is Huntdown. Very cool. It belongs on an arcade. So our next pick, moving away from the kind of cyberpunk theme, is
That's it.
one of Pat's ones. So
Yeah.
take take it away.
Uh,
What are we looking
Take
at
it
here,
away.
Pat?
So this one is called Moon Hunters. So this is probably not like I don't even know how well known this is. Came out in 2016. Again, probably not super well known. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Again, you can pick this up for under $10 on a sale, or maybe not even on a sale. I can't remember. It's very worth it. What it is basically, as you can see there, it's kind of like it's co-op. It's like a roguelike, I should say it's not like, it's definitely a roguelike. It's like action slash role playing. But it's kind of like, it mixes a lot of personality tests in there. So
As
you
in picking
choose,
your character, like when you pick your
yeah.
character,
So
like
basically you are, you choose a main character, you choose like your base character, but everything else from there is basically non-linear, and the gameplays are quick. It's probably goes from anywhere between half an hour to an hour per gameplay. So it's just like you pick it up, you play, and then you finish the game, and then you do it again with a different character or same character but different choices. So premise of the game is basically it's fantasy. It's set in some fantasy land. I forget the name. Um, you got the sun and the moon, which are sort of revered as your deities. One day, the moon disappears, and so you're part of the tribe that worship the moon, and so you're like, what the hell? Got to fight, like something to do with the Sun Clan trying to make it disappear or whatever. So you just got to restore balance, basically. So from there, you've got, I think you've got 3 in-game days. It's like anywhere between 3 and 5 in-game days, but the days pass. So you enter a dungeon, you finish the dungeon, that counts as a day. So you go into 3 dungeons, but within these dungeons, you get presented with choices that you can like it's not something as simple as this. It's like moral questions. Like it would be something like an event where it's been like you see a mound of ants trying to get somewhere. It's like, do you step on it or do you let them pass or something like this? And the
that's a bit
value
sick,
that
but we've all been there, haven't we, with that moral
yeah, yeah.
dilemma?
Oh yeah, you'll see someone sculpting a statue, and then if you walk up to them, it will say, "You see this person sculpting this goddess statue." It's like, do you stop and admire, or do you say something else to them, kind of thing?
Interesting.
Depending on your choice, that will be the value that your character gains. So if you smash the ants, maybe you get like +1 viciousness or something like that.
Oh,
But if you
okay,
let
okay,
them pass,
cool.
then you get like wisdom or something like
It's
this.
kind of pretty cool mechanics for an indie
It
game, like
is, it
pretty
is
deep, just
because
because, yeah.
it goes deep. So basically, you can finish the final boss without combat, and like there's like a billion different endings that you get because there's so many choices that you can make depending on your morality, depending on your personality, whether or not you're brute force, whether or not you're like choosing wisdom. So my first playthrough, my character somehow turned up into some sort of seductive, charming rogue. So I ended up finishing the game just by sweet talking the main boss, and then
No,
I made them.
no combat. You
No
mean like?
combat. The main boss fell in love with me, and then apparently we got married. So for
Oh,
all
good.
you, yeah. So it's not discriminatory. My character was male. The final boss was male. It's very accepting like that. Our characters ended up getting married, and I saved the world by sweet
Everyone
talking.
wins.
Yeah, everyone wins. I saved the world by sweet talking the main guy. There's obviously heavy combat involved. Each character has different skills that they've got that you can upgrade and learn. As you can see there's 3 people playing there right now using 3 different characters. It's very like if anyone's ever played
Yeah,
Gauntlet, it's
I was about to say
a lot
it's
like
got a
that.
very strong Gauntlet vibe. I don't know
Yeah,
what it is about Gauntlet. Maybe the 4 distinct colors and characters, but it's a
yeah,
very Gauntlet-y combat vibe.
yeah.
Yeah, but more
It's
fun.
like that. It's like that. There you go. This is the overworld. So this is where you choose
Mm,
your dungeon. You enter the dungeon, you clear it, you get your upgrades. That counts as a day. You do that 3 times. Final boss opens up. You go to final boss, and then you finish the game. Um,
sweet.
there's kind of like the areas like in Shovel Knight where at the end of the dungeon you sit down at this campsite, and again you're presented with a choice because you can either meditate, which will increase your wisdom or whatever.
Mm,
You can cook, so
mm,
you develop recipes to increase your stats. You can go out hunting, which will increase your strength. But then there's like these events that will happen where if you go out hunting, it will be like, oh, you encounter a boar, like do you like kill it or do you just like let it roam and things like this. So it's very
that's
cool.
awesome.
Yeah, very very cool. It's a fun game. It's quick to play. The soundtrack is beautiful. I actually listen to the soundtrack of this game from
Mm,
time to time because it's
mm,
so peaceful and it's such a vibe. But yeah, no, it's good fun. I recommend it. Again, you can play it couch co-op, you can play it online.
mm.
Uh, Wonderful game.
Bit of a complete package too, and I bet you that this is. I'm pretty sure this is on most consoles, not in addition to Steam, PC,
I
um,
believe it is. Yeah, I believe it is.
and probably pretty cheap too, or
Oh yeah,
just a pick up on a sale kind of game, like
take it on a
kind of
sale.
like, kind of like Braid and the Ascent, where
Yeah,
it's just like super value for money. Like,
yeah,
yeah, great mechanics and co-op. Oh, it looks cool, Pat. Oh, I'm going to check this out because I liked Gauntlet and I like that this has a lot of depth to it. Yeah, I'd be keen to do a couple of runs to just see like those experiences you went through. That looks, yeah, I really like that.
yeah,
Looks cool, man.
yeah. It's a different experience every time. Because yeah, you get different choices and you make different choices.
Yeah, no, awesome, love it. So that one is Moon Hunters,
Moon Hunters.
Moon
Moon
Hunters,
Hunters.
Moon
Yeah.
Hunters. Cool. All right. Well, our next one is changing themes again. This is,
Oh
gosh,
yeah.
this is a bit of an old one, a little bit like Braid and Shovel Knight. This is probably the first indie game I played on console. Um, it's if you're into the gothic horror thing, this just bleeds that artistic kind
Yeah.
of sense and storytelling. So this is Darkest Dungeon. There's a sequel out already, but I would say start with the first because you're not losing anything. It's been out for quite a while. I love it. It's a tactical, kind of like a turn-based. What'd you call it, Pat? It's a bit like a turn-based JRP or tactical role-playing game. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
It's. I don't even know if it's a. I don't even know if it's an RPG. Would you say it's an RPG?
yeah, no, you're right because it's got like kind of things like stats for the characters, but it's actually more of a roguelite. That's the
It is.
character.
It's
That's the
definitely a
category it's
roguelike.
in.
Yeah. It's definitely
Yeah,
a roguelike.
it's probably the like the presentation, what they're trying to achieve here makes you think of games like Diablo because it's got that same sense of lore and the
Yeah.
colors and all that stuff. But look, so this game, Darkest Dungeon, is fantastic. It is not for the faint of heart. This is a hard game. This is a game that was a bit of a game changer because it's not just like you get uber powerful and you can in a lot of games you get to a point where you're like, oh, I'm level 20, level 30 or whatever, and I can just blindside my way through and rolling the story. This is not that game. In this game, like, you are constantly challenged, constantly on edge, constantly fighting for your party's life. You're going to lose heroes. Like, you're going to get attached to heroes and
Oh
lose them. And
no.
you have to accept it. It's a core mechanic you see in games like Dark Souls.
Yeah.
And if that's not for you, I get it. It is totally for me, but you have to be in the right frame of mind.
Yeah.
You have to have thrown maybe 20 controls and smashed them and gone, okay, I've done enough now that I'm not going to do it anymore, because this is the game that will do this to you. So, yeah, Darkest Dungeon, essentially, the premise is that you're there to scour these horrible dungeons, like, full of pigmen, demons, undead, archetypes, but the way they're presented here is very fresh, very interesting, very eye-catching, and you need to just not grind, but battle your way through all these different areas to the end of the game, and recruit heroes while you do and build up your town
Yeah.
as you do that.
Oh,
Yeah,
dude.
it's... Go ahead, sorry.
Oh, I was gonna say, as you say, this game is freaking difficult.
It is.
Like, this is
It's a hard game.
this is not for the faint of heart. Maybe I'm over dramatizing that because I just
No,
suck.
no,
But
you're right. You're
like,
right.
yeah, I don't know if you were gonna touch on this, but the
Yep.
hardest part about this game is friggin' managing your party's psychological and physiological
Do
needs.
it. Tell the people of Perth. Tell them the truth. Tell them what's going
You have
on.
to manage your party's psychological and physiological needs. So you gotta friggin' first of all, you gotta eat. So
Yeah.
you're gonna make sure your party's not hungry and all this shit.
You
And
gotta
then
light your torch just so you can see.
you gotta exactly. If you dick around in the dark, they start getting stressed and you're
Yes.
just
And the
you're
monsters get
if you don't
harder.
have if you don't have food or light sources, your characters just start they start having problems, psychological problems.
Yep.
If they see one of your party members die, or if they
Yes.
see one of your
They get
party members
traumatized.
they get traumatized. They get PTSD and shit. Man, it's you have to manage this stuff. If they get too stressed, they're gonna get a
Yep.
freaking heart attack.
Yes. They can literally have a heart attack and keel over, or they can turn on their mates, or they can steal their treasure.
Yeah.
So they can be like, that's my treasure. So your party doesn't get it as a whole. They steal it, and then you have to send them to prayer or to prison to get over their shit. What if it works for them? Yeah.
You got to think about this stuff when you play this game. It's not just oh, you go into the dungeon and start fighting.
Yeah.
That's cool, but also your party has PTSD and you're going to lose because people are going to get stressed. They're going to die for no reason. For some reason, they get a heart attack and die. But difficult things like that. It's pretty cool, but you are going to get frustrated.
Yeah, you're right. This is not a game that you can just... It's not your Braid. It's not even your Huntdown. It's not your Messenger or your Shovel Knight. This is an indie game we would only recommend to someone who wants a really tough challenge, loves that Gothic universe, is into roguelites, and you do. I personally found this game very frustrating. Very frustrating. I've not beaten it. I've gotten very far, and I'm like, it's so hard, I actually can't. I had to put it down. But I still find it to be a good game. I still value the hours I got out of it. I value the challenge, and I've gone back to it since, not to complete it, but just because I enjoy the mechanics and what it does. So you have to, it is that kind of game. And maybe I'm a bit sick when I see my party. It drives me nuts when my party members has a trait that's they've got some infectious disease now that lowers their energy or some crap like that. Or you go to hit a monster and you completely miss because there is some random, what do you call it, random number generation in your attacks. It's not just I'm going to hit them every time. You might do between 2 and 10 damage. You need 3 damage to slay the boss or slay your foe. You hit them, you get 2 damage. They come back and hit you, kill 2 of your party members, and then you have to... You got to swear for about 20 minutes. You got to put it down. You just got to break something, and then come back and go, you know what? I'm okay with that. I'm going to recruit 2 new people and start from scratch again with them. Look, it's that kind of game, so it's not for everyone. I have to give a shout out to my favorite characters. You can be a freaking werewolf in this, Pat. So you can be a werewolf abomination, and even when you turn into a werewolf, which is super powerful, your mates get scared. So you can't even be the werewolf for that long because your own party members get stressed out seeing you in top form while you're fighting to save their fucking lives from the depths of the abyss.
So funny.
Anyway, it's. I mean, I don't know if there's a demo out there. I'm sure you can get it cheap. But if this all sounds like your thing, viewers, go check it out. Sorry, I've dribbled on too long for Darkest
No,
Dungeon.
this is a cool game. Like you
It's
gotta remember when they die, they die. So like
yeah,
you form attachments to these people, you don't get them back.
yes,
Like, and it's like
exactly.
it's like you said, when they get stressed, they will actively ignore you or just do the opposite of what you're friggin' telling them to do. It's so
Yes,
this game is not for the faint of heart.
it's not at all. It's not at all.
Yeah.
But look, we're going to go on to something. There's the werewolf. We're going to go on to something lighter because we are starting to run out of time. So, the next pick is a game that has just recently come out. It is one of Pat's picks. We both are really into this game. We haven't played it yet, but we did want to talk about it because it
Oh,
looks freaking cool. It's got
oh
great
my god,
reviews. Sea of Stars from the creators of The Messenger. Pat, take it away. I do want to talk about it, but it's all yours. Go for it.
well, we absolutely can. So I'm sure if you go all the way back to episode 1 of this podcast, you will already hear me talking about this game. One of my greatest loves in this entire world is Chrono Trigger. I love that game with all of my heart. And this game has been made in sort of with that in mind. So it's it's not a successor of any kind, but Chrono Trigger was used as inspiration for this. It is an RPG with all those elements that I played in the Super Nintendo when I was younger. So like games like Illusion of Gaia, Illusion
Oh,
of Gaia, Chrono Trigger.
Breath of
I,
Fire.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
I have
Secret of
been
Mana. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Even looking at the overworld of this, it like
Mm.
literally reminds me of Chrono Trigger. Like
Mm.
the design, just the overall aesthetic. Like this is a game I have been waiting for so long for. And I am so happy that it's come out now. I'm not happy because I'm broke and I can't buy it right now. But as soon as I get paid, this is happening. I'm buying it on the Switch. I'm buying it on the PS5. I'm buying it on Steam. I don't care what any of y'all say. I know it's the same game. But
Play it everywhere.
yeah, I just want to be somewhere and be able to play this game. If I'm at home and I can't be bothered turning my computer on, I'm gonna go play on my Switch or I'm gonna go play on my PlayStation. If I go travel somewhere, I want to play this game with my Switch. Like, oh, it's so beautiful. Like, it's just so aesthetically pleasing to me. Like the graphics are so vibrant. I can't say too much on it because I haven't actually played it, but just based on this proper gameplay trailer,
You can
very
feel the
much
Chrono
like
Trigger. You can
yeah,
feel
I
like the
can feel
Chrono
the Chrono
Trigger
Trigger.
DNA. It's all there, isn't it? Like even like
Absolutely.
the views in the back and the time jumping and the quirky, like yeah.
It is everywhere. It is everywhere.
Mm.
No, I can't wait. I cannot wait. I am more hyped for this game than I am Starfield, Diablo 3, or any of these AAAs that
Game of
come
the
out.
year, game of the year, Pat. Maybe like we
Oh,
are going
I'm
to do
so
like our favorite
excited.
games this year, like episode
Oh,
later at the
yeah.
end of the year. So like this might be it. Don't know.
Game of the year for me. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
But it just, and the fact that it sold 100,000 copies on its first
Yeah,
day
did
or
you see
something like
that? I
that.
saw that.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
yes, I love when these games succeed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100,000 copies on your first day as an indie developer is absolutely rock solid achievement. That is a
Yes.
rock solid achievement. And the reviews are out, like apparently it's getting universal acclaim on the consoles. So,
Yep.
geez,
What can
it
you
looks like
say?
it's a home run. It looks like it's a one hitter quitter, as they say, potentially for this
Nice.
studio for this studio.
Well,
Yeah,
interesting you say that. So I don't like some of you might have seen the trailer that this is made from the developers of The Messenger, which I've already ranted about enough.
yeah,
So it's really interesting to see them. Their second game is not in that genre, and that game was an absolutely outstanding game. So you know the quality and the team and the capability,
yeah,
development skills is all there. This could be just an absolute second banger for them out of two, like 2 out of 2. I
yeah.
did not play. I've not played Chrono Trigger. I've heard a lot about it. It's one of those games of like, oh, I should experience it that I haven't, so I need to go and do that.
Yes, you
I
do.
have played games like Secret of Mana. I played that on the SNES when I was a
Yep.
kid.
Beautiful.
Illusion
Beautiful.
of Gaia. There's quite a few of those
Beautiful.
games. Yeah, so I played a few of those. Breath of Fire 2 was probably my favorite as a kid. But when I see this, and I can see the developer Sabotage Studios. I can see their like their DNA, their thing from the messenger in here in terms of the crystal's color, the lighting. Some of the characters from the messenger actually pop up in here, Pat, from what I've seen and heard. So
Yeah.
yeah,
So
even though it's like a
it's
different game,
it's set
it's
in the
part of the same
same.
timeline, isn't it?
It's set in the same world, or it's set in the same
Yeah.
universe as the Messenger. I think from memory,
Yes.
this is
Yes.
set like years before the events of the Messenger or
Interesting.
something like this. So
That's so weird because this is going to be like your
yeah,
favorite game, but the messenger is going to be mine. So we're going to have to
yeah,
do a swap and be like, oh, it's such a
let's play
weird
it.
kind of
Yeah,
like, this is what you're into. Like, yeah, Sea of Stars looks great. If you haven't bought it already, it's probably like a day one purchase. I love the
not
way
for
it
me.
looks.
I'm broke.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
wish it was. I
That's
wish it was a day one purchase. I tell you what,
yeah, true. Well, maybe a Christmas present or something like that.
bro, I'm gonna buy this next week. What do you
Yeah.
mean? It just
Done.
wasn't a day one. It just It's a month one. It's a month one purchase.
Nice. Are you going to buy a physical version of this, or because I think there are physical ones coming up, but I don't know if they're out now. They might be
I'm
like coming out later. I don't know.
I'm
You just going to get it?
yeah, I'm moving away from physical copies
Yeah.
only
Yeah.
because I feel like I like the convenience of not having like if I go somewhere,
Mm.
oh shit, I forgot the cartridge or whatever. Like it'd be
Mm.
nice as a what do you call
Mm.
it? Like sentimentality
Yeah.
or
Yeah. I get you. Yeah. Yeah.
like
See, I'm down
like
that lane, dude. I always buy
yeah
physical because I'm like, I want
yeah
the physical thing.
yeah. So
Yeah.
that's what I would buy it for. But for playing the actual game, I'm like, hey, you know what? I'm already buying it on 3 platforms.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if I buy a physical one.
They need
Like,
like a library edition where it's like, yeah, this is
yeah,
the Switch, the PlayStation, the Xbox, and the Steam edition, and the one
nah.
we've built for the Super Nintendo because people still do that these days. Oh wow!
No one's stupid like me to do that.
No,
So,
no, I reckon there's a lot of people who do it because it's like this kind of game demands it. All right, well, we are running out of time, so I'm going to skip one of mine, which was Blazing Chrome. If we do a part 3, we'll do that another time. The one I'm going to finish on, which is look, it's probably not as big and as exciting
doesn't matter, mate.
as yeah, all those games we've listed.
Yeah,
Um,
beautiful games.
Beautiful game though. So the next game that I did want to mention briefly is one I have not played. I'm trying to pull footage up now. If it doesn't work, so be it. It is Sayonara Wild Hearts. So this is like a smaller game that was shown at a Nintendo Direct quite a while ago. It's kind of, I don't even know how to describe it. It's like a trip. Like you just like go straight through. Like it's like on rails shooter, but it's
Anyway.
to like this K-pop vibe. It's lovely, lovely visuals. Kind of like mixes of like purples, blues, pinks, and you're just seeing this character going through this narrated story. Look, I might even hold off on it because our footage isn't working for it. You can't see anything, can you, Pat? Nah, it's not working.
No.
All right, I'll tell you what. It deserves footage to be spoken to. So we're going to wrap up the episode there instead. It's really cool. Sayonara Wild Hearts. I'll talk to it when we actually have some footage. Looks like we've just run out of budget, Pat. I don't know what's going on.
Oh no! I mean, it makes sense. It makes sense.
Fans, you can pay us at perthgamingcrew.com. Just click that big gold button and add those Bitcoins to our account. Nah, it ain't true.
Okay, I was going to say I'll pay myself.
I mean, everyone is demanding that, but look, we do have a contact us form for those of you who are interested. We don't even have Facebook. We don't know. I don't even know how to spell Twitter. But yeah, if you want to contact us, people of Perth, if you want to know more about these games, if you're keen to talk about a game on the show, let us know. But we have run out of time. Thanks so much, Pat, for joining us. We haven't talked about Hades. We haven't talked about Hollow Knight. We haven't talked about Sayonara Wild Hearts. We haven't shown it. So there might be a part 3. You probably have a couple of indies up your sleeve too, Pat.
Absolutely. I'm not mad. I'm not mad if there's a part 3. Like
it might just have to happen. So there you go. It was fated.
Yeah,
In the meantime,
mad.
excellent. So we do have to wrap up. Thanks so much, everyone, for joining us. Check out our website, perthgamingcrew.com. Like, subscribe, do whatever. We're better than every other show out there, obviously. We really appreciate you joining us. But thanks so much, and have a great Father's Day this weekend. Hopefully it warms up if you're in Perth.
Yeah, same to you, mate.
Yeah, I know. Father's Day, hey. But that's all from us for now. So have a good rest of the week, everyone, and catch you later.